Good morning. I decided to stream early again. Um, for me, it just is in a weather pattern right now where we can get electrical storms every day of the week. We're supposed to get a little break tomorrow on Thursday, but then go right back to it over the weekend. So hopefully this stable system will work its way through in the next week or two, and we can get back to some decent weather. It's a bit early in the summer. I mean, right in the middle of the summer for us. So, anyway, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So, I decided to go ahead and stream. I had a wonderful day off yesterday. I really needed it. That last stream went 4 hours, and 3 of that was pretty much the weaving of that square with the Navajo churro. I so underestimated how long that would take. I thought it would take an hour. So, I did some spinning for an hour and then figured the second hour of the 2 hour stream, which would be the weaving, and that turned out to be 3 hours to get it done, so it was a 4 hour stream. Not complaining, but it is going to be kind of hard to highlight because there's a lot of the same thing in between. Good morning. Hi, Mass Bandit. So I don't know if I'll get any highlighting of that weaving or not, but anyway, it was an experience, and I was very glad to take yesterday as a day off. I did a smidge. I did about 30 minutes of spinning on my treadle spinning wheel, and I did the second part using up the rest of the locks of that caracol that I streamed a tailspun yarn. I wanted to finish that up, and that's fine. I did, but my muscle above my knee hurt again. I don't know what it is about the treadling, but I have to stay away from it for a while. So I'm not going to do any more on that. And that was fine. It was just a little test to see, and I'm going to let that muscle heal some more before I go ahead and spin on a treadle again and just use the electric. And that's what I got today. Other than that, Mass Bandit, thank you for asking. I am doing well, doing very good, and just enjoying summertime, even with the heat, because I'm staying inside. But I'm enjoying not being cold inside. I just like summer so much better. I can be cool during the summertime. I cannot ever get warm during the wintertime, it seems like. So I'm enjoying the summertime, even though I'm not going out in it much. Let's get to the first thing I'm going. Whoops, wrong one. Sorry about that. The first thing I'm going to do is ply 2 bobbins that has the CVM on it that I did a couple streams ago. Each one has a bat and a half. I have 4 more bats left to spin. I'm going to spin those 4 bats over the next 2 days, and then I will have to ply. I will technically be out of hi, Lex Mix, welcome. Good to see you again. I appreciate you stopping by. I am working on a CVM, and actually, let me go back to this camera and show you. I changed colors. This is what I am calling a darker gray. It is. It's the same squishy 11 wraps per inch Aran weight yarn, and it's in a 2-yard skein, so it was kind of folded up there. I'll hold still so you can see it now. But it's going to make a wonderful sweater. It's going to be really wonderful to knit with as a sweater. So this here is 2 ounces and 2 bats. I had a total of 15 bats of this. 4 ounces is on an Ara bobbin, and I have 3 ounces on these 2 bobbins I'm going to apply now, and this math should work out. I'm going to do 4 more bats for approximately 4 more ounces, or at least 15 bats. So that's what we're going to get started on. one strand is down there on the floor on a Lazy Kate. And you can see it down there. This is the second strand. And when you ply, for those that don't really spin, you go the opposite direction of what you spun the single in. So if the spinning wheel is going to the right, or my bobbin on this electric, for the single I have to go to the left for the plying, and I have a little switch, a little toggle switch up and down for right and left. I have spun every day with the exception of 2 when the Tour de France didn't ride. Their rest days were my rest day, but other than that, I'm going to spin the 21 days, 21 stages of the Tour de France. I have been watching the tour, of course off stream, but I have been streaming and spinning something for each of the stages. That's what that stage, Tour de France or Tour de Fleece, TdF stands for. The CVM stands for California Variegated Mutant. It is an American sheep breed. It is called the Variegated Mutant because instead of being a solid color, it has multiple colors on the fleece. It'll have tans, whites, grays, a little bit of brown. Kind of in a, not in a specific pattern, kind of all over its body fleece with the different colors. This took, the bats that I made took all the fleece and blended it together to give me this a little bit homogenized dark gray color. Mass Bandit, how are you? What are you up to today? Is it a day off? Or a day you have to go to work later? I'm not sure the entire bat and a half per bobbin is going to fit as a 2-ply on this bobbin. I actually intended to ply it on the treadle, and considering I'm having trouble with that because of my one muscle, I'm just going to go ahead and probably make 2 skeins. Mass Bandit said, I'm doing good. I'm off today. Have an appointment to see what's wrong with your left hearing aid. Oh no. And it's not working, but right now working on Eeyore. Yes, I love that cross-stitch Eeyore. Wow. Well, that's too bad about the hearing aid. How frustrating. I think a lot of us on Team Twitch that is doing this spinning for Turtle Fleece are getting very tired of spinning. I know I'm ready to go on to something else. I have made it a point to pretty much only spin on stream, not spin other times during that day, so that I can use the other times for some knitting or other household projects. And I'm very, very close to finishing the goal that I set, which is another good thing. Besides spinning every day, the goal was around 56 ounces, which actually is a little more than 2.5 pounds of fiber. And to be honest with you, I think it ends on Sunday. Let me see if I can figure this out. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yep, ends on Sunday. I'm going to have a lot of plying to do, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It goes quick. The plying goes quick. It's a little boring. And one of the easiest times to watch TV, when I'm spinning, I tend to I tend to be streaming right now, but when I'm spinning and not streaming, I tend to listen to a book. Because watching TV, especially if I'm watching something recorded, I have to stop to move my bobbin or move my hook, and then I have to stop to go through the commercials, and it feels so interrupted to watch TV when I'm spinning. So I tend to knit while I watch TV, mostly. Another reason I chose to stream early this morning, early for me, early in the day, is because I've been up since 4:30 my time. I I just can't sleep in late, and oh my goodness, if I try to stay up past 9 o'clock, I can't make it. I'm too tired. Still working on getting coffee in me this morning. Went to the grocery store late last week. I think it was Thursday or whatever. Oh my goodness, did we get good fruit. We got a good watermelon, really, really sweet and juicy. Good peaches. And good strawberries. It's just, I love fruit. I eat a lot of fruit if it's good. So that's been a treat. I had strawberry shortcake last night with strawberries. But I also been eating them, just eating them. That's the one thing I want to do and haven't done yet is go to a farmer's market. They tend to be on Saturday mornings around here. Don't often get out and about early enough on Saturdays. And the weather's been iffy. So we haven't gone, but I think maybe try and do that this Saturday. Or I may wait till next week and get all this streaming over with. I'm going to check the wraps per inch on this with, I don't have my regular tool, but I'm going to use a ruler. A little thicker than the light spun up. Also, it looks like I need a little more pull-in. I'm getting a lot of twist here. Let's see if we can get a little less twist here. So we're going to play bobbin chicken. You know, yarn chicken is where you think you're going to run out of yarn before you finish your project. We're going to play bobbin chicken to see if I can get all this on this one bobbin. I'm saying no, but yeah, I think I'm not going to push it. I think I'd rather have a join. Joins don't matter when you're knitting with it. You can stick them to the back of the work, weave them in, you know. Alright, so I'm going to wind that off as a skein. So you'll hear me counting under my breath here, and I can't really do this on very well on camera. Maybe I can. This isn't the absolute final step. The final step is to give the yarn a bath. It gets washed. That's one. Nope, that's not going to work. I'm going to hit the camera. That's not good. Sorry. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, six. Six. Okay. Now the reason I count is because this is an approximate measure of 2 yards when it does the complete wrap. Yardage will change after the yarn gets washed, so it's only an approximate, but that helps me definitely to have even that approximate. There were 36 wraps. This is a 2 yards nitty knotty, so that's approximately 72 yards of a 2-ply. And I do have these are called Trivec bands. You can get them on Amazon, and they are waterproof, so I can write this information on there, put it on the yarn, and the information will be there when it goes through the wash. I also tie the skein in a number of places. And I'm going to leave this on. The nitty-knotty for a little bit to stretch and relax the yarn a little bit. Then I'll take it off and it'll look exactly like the skein I just showed you earlier. Alright, put this on there. And thus another skein of yarn is born. How about that? I'm going to repeat what I just did with this little bit of leftover on the bobbins. And then we'll get to spinning the next bat. I upset my camera. I banged it enough that it's got that greenish cast to it. That eventually goes away. So what I'm doing, Mass Bandit says, so what you're doing right now is called plying. Yes, it's spun in the opposite direction of the single. It ends up putting multiple singles together. I'm doing 2, but you can do 3, 4. There is a specific way called chain plying, so there are multiple ways to ply. This is their basic 2-ply. A lot of people use way of plying. I think as I get back away from just spinning all the time and start teaching again, I think maybe I'll do a little 30-minute How a Skein of Yarn is Born. I'm very enamored with that title. Make it a highlight. Keep it on my Twitch page. I put all of my videos up on YouTube, but under a different name, not Yarn Spinner's Tales. I figure people will find, if they're looking for anything related to spinning, they'll find them. But I haven't really been teaching, so I don't consider them teaching. They're just more or less there for interest of watching about spinning. Anyway, I have a little bit more on one bobbin than the other, and when that happens, I have to just take it off of the bobbin has extra and wrap it around my hand and very carefully, slowly ply it back on itself, right? I got the two ends, so the two ends will get plied together back on themselves. Only do this if I have a small part, what I can manage on my hands. I don't do it this way if it ends up a lot left over on the bobbin. What I'll do is spin another bobbin and ply it with it. But the trick is to catch the one end into the end that is still connected to the spinning wheel. No knot, but you have 3 plies going at the same time because it's double back. Okay, let go. And then you got to get it to feed. And pull tight. It's a bit of finagling. It's hard for me to keep the hand, my left hand, which has that wrapped around it, in the camera, but you can sort of see it feeding off the 2 strands. I need to move my hook. So this way, everything you spun gets plied up. Just like that. Okay, so this is what I spun another stream. It has 1 bat on it. I'm just going to spin another bat today. So we're just going to actually be making singles now. Had to throw my switch so that this will turn to the right, clockwise, because I was going counterclockwise to ply. This is the bat. That's the back side. Some of the back side is loose, and since it's not attached real well, I pull it off, card it later with my hand cards. That's the front. I have been doing so much of this CVM between the two colors that I had. I had around 26 ounces. And you know what? I think I said something wrong about my goal. My goal was 53 ounces. That's 16, 3, that's 3 pounds and some ounces. The 26 was my sweater spin. That is what I had in the CVM between the two colors. A lot of fiber, a lot of spinning. Not uncommon over the days and weeks for me to spin that amount, but I do not generally spin as much every day as I've been during this 3 weeks. I let my coffee get cold. I guess I didn't want it as much as I thought I did. I do have water for in a bit. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put in Discord that I was streaming. Oh my goodness. I need to do that. Give me a second here, guys. There. That was really silly, wasn't it? I totally forgot. That's Team Twitch, which one of the goal things is stream every day, and that, of course, is their easiest way to know that you're streaming for the day, is to post in a specific streaming live now thread. So that's what I forgot to post in. But there's no set amount of time you gotta stream. Just stream every day. So, except the rest days. I'll be going another more than an hour. I have a little story in the early spring. I posted on Discord, my Discord general, a picture of a certain kind of duck that had decided that one of our trees that had an open cavity at the base of it was a good place to have her nest. And, you know, she was there for quite a few weeks sitting on that nest, and it was, oh my gosh, it even snowed one day during it, and she was occasionally off the nest, and hubby had gone out and looked, and he counted 12 eggs. But at one point we saw a bunch of adult ducks around, but we never saw the babies leave. But then later when we checked, the nest wasn't being sat upon anymore, and the eggs were hatched. And, I mean, it looked like the eggs were hatched. So we never really knew how many, and you know, we didn't get to see them as little baby ducks, which I would have loved to have seen, but somehow they snuck out. Well, the last week I was going down my lane, and I turned out onto the road, and the property next door, across the street, I should say, from us, has a lake. And we knew the adult ducks had been hanging out there, but I saw 7 what I would call teenager ducks, okay, in a clutch. I mean, seriously, they were like inches from each other, all 7 in this kind of triangle formation, walking, you know, by the road, going someplace on the property. And I was like, those are our baby ducks. They're growing up. I was so excited to see them. Now, it could have been a different nest. I don't want to know that. As far as I'm concerned, those were our baby ducks. These are wild ducks, by the way. They're not domesticated. They are bigger. They are a larger size than domesticated ducks. They're closer to geese in size. And they tend to be a pair or a couple pairs that live in this valley. We see them all up and down the road, various places. They don't necessarily, they like water, but I'll tell you, they like shallow water. They like the ditches when they have water in them. They eat the bugs in it and the, grass shoots and stuff like that. So they like the ditches by the side of the road, which is unfortunate if they don't stay off the road, but that's their hunting ground. Their name is like Beganser duck, something like that. I'm never sure if I'm saying it right, but that's the breed. Good morning, Kay. How are you today? Are you ready for another week of this? I'm just like, are we burned out yet? I had a wonderful rest day yesterday. That really was needed. So I feel a little refreshed and ready to continue on. Which is good because I still have probably 5 or 6 ounces of fiber left to spin yet. And then a lot of plying. I should have, I'm going to end up with, spinning something that I'm not going to count towards my total in the Tour de Fleece, because I can't spin and ply the same day. I don't like doing that. And so, you know, and I really don't know how else to count. I could count the ounces of this single that I spin, you know, in the total, I guess. I guess that's what I would do. Thinking out loud. Kay says, I may have used my rest day to ply yarn. I finished just before turtle fleece. Oh, not even a turtle fleece yarn. Yeah, I used my quote unquote rest day to try my treadle wheel, and I treadled for about 30 minutes messing with the second half of that caracol yarn I was making with the locks, which is a lot of stop and start and not heavy duty treadling. And by evening, my muscle here was hurting. So I still got to rest it. I sure hope this is going to be temporary. I don't want to lose my capability of spinning on the treadle at all. I can't give that up. So I'm hoping it just will eventually need rest and eventually be strengthened back to where it doesn't do that. That is my surgery leg. They mess with that muscle when they do that surgery, so I'm pretty sure it has to do with that. But otherwise, I did a lot of, I had a list of annoying things to do. You know, they were things like go online and check our blood tests that we had with our yearly physical, and go online and find this kind of thing in the bank account, and you know, annoying things like that. And phone calls and whatnot. So I took care of my annoying to-do list yesterday. I feel good about that. Kay says, I started plying the Lester I finished Sunday this morning, but we're running some errands now. Hopefully, yes, thank you. Hopefully it will keep healing. I'm impatient. I'm not the most patient. I have things to do and places to go, and I don't want to be bothered by any of that. Thank you very much. So you're watching this on your phone? On Twitch? I do have Twitch on my phone because when I do an outside stream, that's what I use, is the phone. But I'm not really in the habit of watching streams on that app, on the app on my phone. Good morning. KB, you're watching on your TV. I know you've talked about that before, and I think that's pretty cool. We don't have a smart TV yet. We keep talking about it, but the TV we're watching is, you know, it's still okay. And we watch the sales, but with so much of the stuff, like, you know, Amazon sales and stuff like that being shipped, we don't want to ship a TV. We want to go get it. So we just haven't done it, but I'm looking forward to being able to do that. And Kay says, yep, on my phone. That's cool. I ran errand yesterday because I had a birthday card from my mother to mail Unfortunately, her birthday's tomorrow, and I mailed it yesterday, and it's going to Florida, and it's not going to make it. That's okay, because second, unfortunately, is she is currently in the hospital, so she's not home right now anyway. I talked to her briefly this morning, and I'm going to call her later this evening. And there's testing happening, but I don't have much news yet about anything or how long she's going to be in. So anyway, unfortunately, I think she's going to be in the hospital over her birthday. Which is good. She won't know my card was late. I don't know why it was late. I didn't buy it till Thursday last week. But then I didn't turn around and stick it in the mail like I do sometimes when I buy it that late. I wish now I had. Anyway, I did some errands yesterday and definitely ran that to the post office. So I know. Oh, you have a Chrome cast stick. KB says I have a Chromecast stick. I can't say that. Chromecast stick. I have a Fire Stick. Now, I don't know if that's going to make a difference as far as whether Twitch is available on the Fire Stick or not. I haven't actually looked into that. But I'm sure we could get the Chrome. You know, the Fire Stick is fine. I don't end up using it as much as I thought I would, because it's a nuisance to go to the different, with the remote, go to the different output channel. I mean, it's nothing really. It's just a different remote and get that output channel, and there you go. But I don't do it as much as I thought I would. We've had it for a couple years though. KB says, "Oh, poor dear for my mom, and I'm horrible sending cards. I don't send very many. I think occasionally I do my daughter's birthday and my grandson's birthday, and occasionally I send other cards to my grandson, just because, everybody loves to get mail when they're a kid, and if you put $5 in it, it's even more exciting, right? So I do that occasionally, and my mom and a good friend, and that's about it, really. Christmas cards are getting fewer and fewer every year. Hardly send any Christmas cards anymore. I'm down to the point where it's so few and the people are special that I'm considering making the Christmas cards instead of just using a standard purchased Christmas card. Maskman has said, "You've got the Fire TV too. Never thought about putting Twitch on the TV." I think you can download the app, but but not sure about the Fire. I know, obviously, the Chrome works for KB. Yeah, the only thing about my mom is it's up in the air yet whether I need to travel down there and be with her. Um, which, you know, could happen. It always could happen. That's just a given with her age, but we're kind of doing a wait and see right now. It's funny, 2 years ago in 2019, we went down to her house over Tour de Fleece because her birthday, which is tomorrow, occurred in the Tour de Fleece, and she was celebrating her 90th. So for that birthday, I wanted to be there. We had a party for her and everything. So 2 years ago, I spun part of my Tour de Fleece down at my mom's. I took this spinning wheel, in fact. I took this electric to spin on. Got to show it off to a bunch of my relatives who have actually never seen me spin before when they came to Mom's party. KB says that's all we use your TV for. YouTube and Twitch. Okay. My husband will not give up local TV coverage. It's just essential to him to have the weather and news locally. So, never gonna be able to change the fact that we have Dish so that we can get the local channels, because we really can't get anything with the antenna or down the valley, and the signals don't do that dip right. We have the same problem with cell phones. So it's either a line with cable or the satellite dish, which is what we use. And yes, we can get local weather and news on the internet, which we have, and it's not the same, right? He has to have somebody. Well, he does have trouble reading. I will say that that's part of the problem, but he wants somebody telling him, talking to him. All right. I am going to take a stretch break. It's past an hour. And have some water. Oh, that feels good. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to get into today after getting this Streaming done. My spinning for the day done. Oh, darn, I didn't weigh that bobbin. All the bobbins are around 3 ounces, though. Ah, totally forgot. I don't even remember what color leader it has on. It had a white one on. It's the white leader. But I have 2 bobbins with white leaders, so that... Oh well, I'll just call it 3 ounces. It's not more than 3. I have one that's like 2.9. I'm just going to call it 3. I have a tickle this morning in my throat. KB, are you planning to stream today? I know you had a long one yesterday, didn't you? I was saying earlier, the one on Sunday with the weaving for me turned out to be 4 hours long. I had no idea I had gone that long. But I got it done. I got that square woven, which is what I wanted to do. I just totally underestimated. I thought it'd take me an hour to do it. I mean, it's just over and under and pull it through, right? Oh boy, it wasn't that. It was a lot more than that. Frolic, can you comment when on TV? Oh, that's a good question. And KB says you are your usual 4 hours. As Kermit says, time's fun when you're having flies. I like the Muppets. The comments are on your phone. Oh, you have it open on your phone too. Okay. Frolic says that makes sense. I tried streaming to my TV a couple times and was annoyed. That's a good point. There is nothing worse than trying to type words with your remote. The keyboard is displayed and you hit it with your remote to search. Fortunately, the search will usually pick up when it recognizes something and you get the whole thing. So, you don't have to type the whole thing. But that's usually unfun, not fun. KB says, yes, faster to read comments and make comments on your phone. Okay. Well, that's a good thing to know. I would actually use my iPad. Well, I learned something today. If we ever get a smart TV. Frolic says, I have discovered that watching spinning is nearly as soothing as spinning. Do you spin, Frolic? And I can have it in the background while at work. Such a blessing to be to this stressed out girl. Well, I am so sorry your job is stressful or whatever, but thank you, and I am so glad that helps. When I was doing audio podcasts, people would say that they loved listening to my podcasts, but it was mostly my soothing voice, and they would fall asleep because I would just soothe them right to sleep. So that's not a good thing if you're at work. I'm kind of the other way when I watch Twitch. I don't actually watch. I listen. I like streamers who, not hyper chatter, but keep a little bit of chat going, and they have chatters to chat with them. And when I've got it going and I'm doing something else like knitting or spinning or whatever, I like that. I like the music in, if they're not talking, that they have music going. That's what I do when it's in the background. I'm not a real active sit and watch
the stream. I do know that if we would get the Twitch on the TV, hubby might start watching some of them. He just isn't into watching on his pad or phone. Um, or sitting here at the computer watching them. There's something else I was going to say about that. Oh, just that Snoring Cat is on very late at night for me. I mean, just before midnight, 11 o'clock p.m. And I'd let her put me to sleep. I just listen to the talk going, and she reads the chat.
Oh, Frolic says, I'm learning to spin. I've had 2 lessons thus far, and my teacher is super proud of me. I am borrowing a Jensen wheel from her right now, and she said I needed to look for your own. It's not easy since I'm in a fiber desert. And she says, also agree, Reason the good streamer. Oh, my stream is one of the best. You are so sweet to say that. And I disagree, but I like what I do and enjoy it, and that's the important part. But thank you very, very much. I did not come to Twitch from the gaming community. I am not a gamer in that sense. I do play some games, but it is a totally different platform with Steam and I'm not even sure I can say all of them, but the gaming platforms. I've done some, but and so I try to watch gamers on Twitch, and I can't. I'm just like watching little figures run around, do things, whatever. Doesn't hold my attention, and they're not saying anything that I'm interested in. So I have just recently started getting into the food as opposed to the makers channel, and I'm enjoying that. That's been pretty interesting. A lot of that is not in English, which I won't watch if it's not, unfortunately. I'll check it out, but won't stay. You say you're in a fiber desert. Why is that? I know you mean you don't have a lot of spinners or fiber or local sources. I and I agree that unless you have spun on another one, you probably shouldn't buy one online. Shipping alone is a problem. Frolic says, I dabble my toe into the gaming and enjoy some of it. I had Twitch and Discord accounts for a long time because of the board gaming community. I had a Discord account that I actually don't use. That was for one specific game. We would get together and do, and it's not on the Steam platform. It's just a regular iOS, app. And I thought that was so cool because, I put my headphones on and I got to hear the Australian with their accent and Denmark
No, not Denmark. Where is he from? A guy, another guy. In other words, I got to hear the different accents, and I thought it was really cool. But that was years ago, and I no longer use that. I made a new one under Yarn Spinner's Tales so it would match the stream.
Frolic says, I'm in an odd location. There are good sources of fiber and tools in South Wisconsin. There's a fairly active weaving guild in St. Louis. St. Louis is 90 minutes from me, though, and Chicago is almost 3 hours.
Yeah, 90 minutes from St. Louis is nice. That's west of me, where I live in Kentucky. But we've been to St. Louis on trips as getaway trips. I like going to St. Louis. I have never looked into anything fiber related or yarn shops or anything like that when we went to St. Louis because it's a vacation with hubby and he's like, no, we're going to go do this. I don't want to do that. Let's go do this. Which is mostly, usually breweries or wineries.
KB says, I have a couple of games I watch. Do you watch Mike Sy? He did a good stream. No, never heard of it. Mass Bandit says, I'm in northern Wisconsin and there's nothing there. Oh. Frolic says, I live in a city with a population of 115K and we don't even have a local yarn store in town. Actually, that's true of me too. That's not uncommon. Yarn stores have a very hard time making it. They really do. They really do. So that's not that uncommon. Kay says, Southern Wisconsin here. Hey, we're kind of in a cluster. We're sort of kind of in a cluster. I've been in Wisconsin once. I actually went up there and did a fiber fair, but I don't remember where it was. I just was so impressed with the neat as a pin farmland, acres after acres of fences and farms and that sort of thing. That I'm sure it was the southern part, and I cannot remember where I went. It's been so many years ago. But it was a fun trip. Took a long time. I'm writing Mike's side down. You say did a good stream. Does he do it still or? Yes, love the beers in St. Louis. Perennial Artesian is one of your favorite. Is that a brewery? Oh, he streams food. Okay. Mike Sy streams food. Oh, that sounds like a good one then. Jefferson does a sheep and wool? Okay. Very possible. That's what is it. Well, I'll write perennial artisan down. Tell hubby about it. Frolic says, I felt lucky to find a spinning teacher. When I was looking to find someone to teach me to knit, I came up with nothing. Bumpkus, huh? Nothing. Huh. Well, I had a very interesting experience when I went to the knit group that's meeting here for the first time on Wednesday. I'm going to stop spinning. I'm going to put myself on the full face here. Let's just talk a little bit because I don't want to start another bobbin with like 20 minutes left. Anyway, somebody saw us knitting, walked by. We were in a coffee shop. They saw us knitting, walked by, and said, "Oh, are you knitting? Would you teach me to knit?" And they were sort of like mumbled, you know, they didn't give her an answer. And I sort of said, "If you really think you want to, we can do that." And after the person walked by, they said, "I don't want to teach a knit. I don't want to teach a knit." They were like not wanting to spend the one-on-one FaceTime and the time to teach because they were there to be with their friends and chat and, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know. What do I miss here? I got that. Mike Size streams food. Jefferson does a sheep and wool. Yeah, Mass Bandit could teach knitting. Yes, she could teach a lot of things. I want Mass Bandit to teach me bobbin lace, but, you know, that's a long way away. I try it on my own and then I put it up and I quit doing it. I don't do that anymore. And KB says, "But that's how you make me knitting friends." That's right. That's right. You know, and I'm willing to teach because I've never been a teacher per se in any paid job, but I have always been a teacher. When I worked in my lab job, I was the one that always trained the new employee, right? Because I was good at it. Could explain well, and this is what has happened with the spinning in the podcast and now sort of the Twitch. I don't get into as much teaching on these streams. I enjoy the chat more, to be honest with you, than the teaching. Yeah, new friends, right? To make new friends, new knitting friends. Frolic said, "Ended up teaching myself to knit about 18 months ago. I have completed numerous pairs of socks for hubby, 4 lace shawls, 3 cable scarves with another cast on, working on a pullover for hubby also. Lost yarn chicken." Oh no, and then we agreed we don't like the pattern, so you need to frog and start again. Bobbin lace? That's another thing on the must-learn list. I have a bobbin pillow. I have bobbins. I'm actually pretty good at bobbin lace. I put the pattern, you know, down, and I know the basic stitch, and it's just not something that I do enough that I would be confident enough to show or teach. It's just something that I mess with every once in a while, every once in a blue moon. Mass Bandit says, "Bobbin lace isn't hard, it's just a couple of different moves repeated in different combinations." That's right, I know. Well, you know, in this day and age, you just proved something, Frolic, by saying that you taught yourself to knit. Seriously, you can do it with the resources that are available on the internet. You can learn to spin with the resources that are available that way. That wasn't true, you know, 15 years ago. And teachers were more important. Now it's gotten to the point, if you wanted to learn to spin 20 years ago, you had to find a spinner. If you wanted to, let me tell you how I know, because I tried to learn to spin in 1978 when I first got my first spinning wheel. It was very hard, and I did find a spinner eventually to help me figure out some of the stuff I wasn't figuring out. Now you just go watch a YouTube video. So it's very possible to do it without a teacher now. KB says, "I've never tried bobbin lace, and I really have enough things going on that I wouldn't have the time." Well, that's why I agree. I like hand sewing. I like smocking. You know, I like so much. But after a while, it became easier just to settle on a couple things, like the spinning, knitting, and crocheting is my basic thing. KB says, I've taught myself everything. It's good. I'm a believer in books. I have way too many of them, but I have said, give me a book on it and I will figure out how to do it, you know. And that comes from coming pre-internet and learning all this stuff. And my interests change. As the years go on, I started making little girl smock dresses, which I adore, when my little girl was a little girl. My little girl is 40 now, so, you know, I don't have a granddaughter. Why make them? I want to do it when it's something that's in my life anyway. The spinning has stuck because it's just always there for me every day. The knitting, not quite as much. I have to be more interested and motivated to do the knitting. Let's see here. Bobbin lace isn't hard, just a couple different moves. Maybe we need to have a virtual class, Mass Bandit. KB says, never tried and I have enough things going on. Oh, we read all that. Frolic says, my biggest problem is I need to see in 3D for it to click for me. Well, I have not addressed that. That's very, very true for how people learn. Everybody learns differently. Either you've got to have it in your hand, which might be what you need, or you need it in front of you while somebody else is doing it. I understand that. Very true. When you watch YouTubes, you're like, move the camera, put it over there. Let me see what you're doing over there. That happened to me with the square that I was weaving, right? Because she did the beginning and she did the end, but she never did all those passes in between the beginning and the end. And I was like, really, it wasn't hard, but there were issues going on that should have or could have been addressed that wasn't in that video. KB says, you taught yourself everything. Frolic says, I literally need 20 minutes with somebody who knows what they're doing, but it needs to be in person. Yeah. And KB agrees with me. Books are awesome. Books are awesome. Mass Madness says, if I get disability, I would think about making an overnight trip to teach bobbin lace. Wow. And KB, something usable. In the fact that that's where my interests go. If I'm gotta need, something usable. I did my rug for the side of the bed, which I am still loving. I am so happy I made that. But you know what? It was yarn I had spun that was super bulky that I could not find any use for. As soon as I hit on the idea of the rug and I made it, I'm like, I am so glad I did that. That was such a good use of that yarn. I'm too practical just to not have a use for something. But a lot of this spinning ends up that way. I have to wait for the perfect use before it gets used. Kay says, knitting I picked up pretty quickly, but crocheting took me much longer because I could never quite see where the hook should be going. That's a very good point. They'll say the back loop or what, and you know what? I have been crocheting some lately. Pretty bulky, not, regular sugar and cream cotton is pretty thick, and so the stitches are very well defined, and I have been noticing that sitting at the top, those that row tends to want to curl backwards, just like you do garter stitch or stockinette stitch, and it curls up, inward. Crochet wants to curl backwards, so you have to take your hand and hold that row, pointing it towards you so that you're going in the right place on the hook. That was something I recently learned as I was working through these. But the thing I'm still really struggling with, I don't care how small a hook I use. If I crochet with sugar and cream, I'm going to get the same size stitch. And I have a lot of trouble getting a compacted, solid fabric with crochet. It's very loose tension. And I think that's probably just a matter of needing to do more. So everything I'm making is ending up bigger than I expected, which is all right, with a dishcloth or a tablecloth, a decorative cloth to put on your table or whatever. Size doesn't matter. I'm not making clothing or anything. Frolic says, my grandmother tried to teach me knitting when I was about 8. Never worked. 10 minutes with a knitter and it clicked. Never looked back. And KB says, that's awesome, Frolic. Frolic says, crochet. Picked that up at 8, but my husband crochets, so I leave that project cue to him. Oh, don't I wish I had that. Here, honey. Here's my cue. Go for it. But it is twice the yarn to buy, right? You're supporting two fiber habits. Mass Bandit said, my great-grandma taught me knitting and tatting at about 5 years of age. Wow. Oh, Frolic says, well, he puts knitting projects on my queue. Fair's fair. I like that. That is awesome, Mass Bandit. A great-grandma teaching you to tatting is like a wonderful memory. My grandma taught me to knit and crochet both. And I remember I was in the first year of Girl Scouts or something like that. So that was probably first or second grade, somewhere in there, when I learned. And I, to this day, know the pattern by heart. That was the first thing I made, and those were called grandma slippers. And do you know, I always thought that was my name for the pattern, right? Because grandma taught me how to make them. But I actually Googled that, and they do come up as grandma slippers. I was like, oh my goodness, I bet you every grandma in the world has taught their granddaughter or grandson how to knit these slippers. KB says, my hubby undertakes both but refuses to do either. Oh, refuses to understand either. Oh, that was the phone. Yeah. Auto carrot. I know. My hubby will walk by. What are you knitting? What are you knitting? What are you knitting? What are you doing? What are you making? Right, but he has no interest in anything like that on his own. Nor does he have anything that I call a hobby outside of watching TV and movies, that for his pastime. He doesn't really have a hobby per se. Never has had any desire to do that. He will sleep and doze a lot more than I do too. So if you're sleeping, you can't do a hobby. Frolic says, I am passing it on to my nibblings. Niece, I love that word, nibblings. Never heard that. Niece and nephews. Nibblings. Cute. Well, I am ready to move because I've sat here for a couple hours and I need to move a little bit. Oh, I am so sorry, Frolic, but it is wonderful that you have some in your family to give that special attention to. Really, it's very wonderful that you do. And I hope otherwise you're very healthy and well. Thank you for the chat, everybody. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome stream. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's see. What's going on tomorrow? I can't think that whether I want to do it in the evening or daytime. Maybe the middle of the afternoon. Something like that. So thank you all. And you have Mass Bandit. You have a good work day. Everybody else have a great rest of their day. See you later. Happy spinning. Oh, should we? Let me check. I'm back. Let me check and see if there's anybody. KB isn't streaming yet, but let me see if anybody else is. And we'll rate them. Ah! Snyder Spindle's on. I'm going to rate him. So, let me get rid of the music. Let me bring Snyder Spindle up on here so I can get through the ad.
First, there's sour.
You have the answer?
1776?
You got it.
And then there's sweet. Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
I haven't seen one of his streams for a while.
It is tour de please. That is a fair point.
Okay.
This
You
is
all?
just exactly.
See you there.
Yeah, mine. I'm just.
Here we go.
I think I'm doing 13.
Now it's
rows
goodbye.
Switching colors. 13 rows of switching colors.